Diego, hey, congratulations for American Carnage.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's a terrific, fun movie. Very, very hilarious in its own way. Let's ask that question that everybody asks: is where did the original idea came from for American Carnage for you?
Well, the original idea started brewing in my head and my brothers because we wrote it together. But when we saw Trump run for president and kind of throwing Mexicans under the bus, saying that we're rapists and drug dealers and all kinds of things, I live in the United States. I've been living here for more than half of my life. That was kind of like a shocking realization that you thought that was kind of like that kind of open racism, I guess, is still happening. And then, seeing all the laws that he implemented while being in president. And then you have this sort of like political parties using Latinos as a kind of like a dangling carrot in order to manipulate the masses, because even Democrats themselves, they're not great either. So kind of realizing that we're being sandwiched between two political parties and they're kind of using us and they're exploiting us for political brownie points. I wanted to tell a story that infused horror, because to me, when I see the separation camps, that is a living nightmare. I wanted to have that living nightmare be represented in a kind of like left of center way, using horror and comedy in order to tell a story that when you're watching it, you're having fun, but then when you're done watching it, you kind of like think about, now with everything that's going on, Roe versus Wade being overturned, you never know like how close we are to a kind of dystopian nightmare like this.
Now you're very familiar with the horror genre, in your career, because I noticed that you have produced quite a number of horror films. Was this film a little bit more challenging in the way where you not only is just horror, but you kind of blend more comedy into this?
I don't know if I would use the word challenging, because I actually embraced the comedy in this film a lot. And one of my favorite moments directing this is when seeing that the cast had so much chemistry among themselves. I allowed for a lot of improvisation. I used back in the day in my previous work, I would be very strict. I would have a shot list and I would be very like methodical about it. And as more went on, I realized I feel more comfortable with improvisation and having comedic elements or timing that weren't pre-planned and they just sort of happen in the moment. I realized that elevated the material in ways that I would have never been able to do just by myself. And so when you're able to have this relationship and you trust your actors, you're able to then get more out of them that you didn't think it was even possible.
Now, tell us about working with an near all Latino cast, and because I have to commend you. You not only you work with a Latino cast, you work with a diverse of Latino cast.
Yes, that was a very important point for us, because a lot of the times Hollywood would kind of create this caricature or stereotype of what it means to be Latino, and it was very important for us that we show that we, especially in the United States, we come from different backgrounds, we have different accents, we come from different shades and heights and tones. And so it was very important that if I'm gonna do a movie that's gonna reflect the reality in a hyper sense, the Latino community needed to be represented correctly. And I took that very seriously. And that was the main goal, is to make sure that we don't leave anyone behind, and we're all in this together.
Great. Hey, tell us who you recruited to play. These. I want to say, as a trailer projected, the creatures that the movements. You found circus performers. What did you do?
Yeah, so that guy, his name is Troy, and he's a contortionist. And a lot of the conversation started because when we started storyboarding what I wanted to do with the body, we quickly realized like this is a very complicated sequence. We're gonna need all kinds of prosthetics. We're gonna need all kinds of like wires and strings to like have someone hanging. And then I watched his audition for, I think it was like the X Factor or one of those shows. And I was like, oh, I need to get this guy because this guy can do what I need. The only issue is like he's a very young looking guy. So we had to put about 6 hours worth of makeup in order to make him look super old. And so that was kind of like the challenge, because originally that scene we were gonna have a full day to shoot it, but because of the makeup, we only ended up having about half the time. But because he's so good at this, we were able to just get everything that we needed. But definitely we would not be able to pull that off without someone with those kinds of skills, because what he does is incredible.
Now, tell us about focusing on practical makeup, through this film. Is that something like you love using as horror features? Because I know you've been in the horror genre for a while, and you probably use both practical and CGI.
Yeah. So the thing about practical is that it takes a lot of time, and you got to plan, and it's very difficult to get it right so it looks photorealistic. But what it brings to the table compared to CGI is that it allows for actors and performers to experience what they're supposed to be seeing, and that allows them to then get into the moment. So it was very important for us to try and bring as much realism on set, so then that way they're reacting to what they're seeing instead of just pretending that there's something in front of them when there isn't something in front of them. So practical effects are also so fun, because when you see the movie, you see the final result, but what you didn't see was all the tests that we had to do and all the different versions of like the different makeups that we had. And that process is very fun. I find it very rewarding, seeing how much you put so much time and effort into something, and then you put it, and then it comes to set, and then everyone's excited because, oh, today we have the full body makeup thing, and everyone's taking pictures, and you see the before and after, and when you see it, you color correct the footage, and you see the final result. It is very rewarding seeing the practical, whereas when you do visual effects, you can do more, and you can do a bigger scale of things, which there's some VFX in this film, but the process is different because then it's in the post-production, right? You already shot it, and then it's about going back to the footage and then indicating with like a laser pointer, oh, I need this to be a little bit more this way or a little darker. So it becomes a different way of interacting when you're making something. And I think they're both valid, but my favorite part of being a director is being on set, and practical effects allow you to experience that while you're on set. And so as long as I can, I'm gonna push to always do prosthetics. Unless I'm doing some kind of like bigger CGI creature or whatever. But the art of prosthetics, and like even like just blood, when you have real blood on set, and everyone gets like squirted with blood everywhere, it's just it becomes fun. Like when a horror movie is scary to people when they're watching it, but when you're making it, it's so much fun. It's just comedy. It's the best.
It sounds like this is a lot of fun for you. What is this lure of, especially horror, that you love so much?
I think when you're able to use horror to tell a story that feels very personal to you, the horror element allows you to detach from reality, and in a sense, because you have that detachment, it allows you to be more critical about what you're talking about, because it's such a crazy left of center situation that how ridiculous it is becomes the commentary. So it kind of like gives you a layer of I wouldn't say protection, but it gives you a layer of suspension of disbelief in order to enhance whatever message you're trying to get across.
Most excellent. Well, Diego, you made a fun film, and I could tell that you had a lot of fun with this film. Everyone should definitely check out American Carnage. Thank you for carrying this conversation with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.